Hello and welcome to Crazy Case Analysis. Today, we're diving into the feud between Keller and Alex. Of course, Frank advised Keller that even if Alex was a villain, handing him over to the cops is a brain tease. Hold on. Keller rambled that they had no evidence. What's the point of handing him over to the police? If Alex keeps playing dumb at the station, their daughter is in trouble. Keller took drastic measures, dragging Frank in. Unfortunately, no matter how they tortured Alex, the guy didn't auto-repeat. He's like a champion at his. Meanwhile, the town's residents, like forgetting, gathered to pray at Anna's disappearance site. However, the inspector noticed a suspicious uncle in the crowd who fled in a panic on seeing him. So the inspector immediately gave chase, but that guy darted off like a sparrow, disappearing without a trace. Were Anna and Joa's disappearances somehow linked to the fleeing uncle? To catch him fast, the inspector initiated a massive manhunt. The next day, Frank spilled the news to Keller, but Keller couldn't care less, convinced Alex knew exactly where Anna was hiding. He proclaimed that even if the suspect was a killer, he must be buddy-buddy with Alex, like two pieces of a puzzle. 5 days later, Anna's whereabouts remained a mystery, leaving everyone anxious. Despite days passing, Keller still gleaned no clues from Alex, and Frank's late-night escapades raised his wife's eyebrows. Under his wife's interrogation, Frank had to spill the beans. Now the party was on, and they decided to go find Alex together. When they saw Alex, his condition was so pitiful it resembled a tragedy on earth. The wife pulled out a picture of their daughter, hoping for help from Alex. Surprisingly, he sat there mute, like he was chanting a mantra. But then, surprise! His lips moved, and it looked like he wanted to say something. Excitement was in the air. The wife morphed into a hero, saving their daughter, but too soon. Alex burst forth like a cat with its tail stepped on. Thanks to the heavens, Keller and Frank arrived just in time to snap Alex back. It was quite the cat and mouse chase. Later, Keller set up a dog-little room for Alex. It was like a twist on the Underground Railroad, plus a suspicious hot water heater in there. The moment Alex didn't cooperate, Keller was ready to hand over a hot potato. Caught between mad love and a father's obsession, Keller's actions were about to become a feature film on missing parents. However, Frank softened amidst deeper emotions, deciding to release Alex. But his wife reminded him to think about their daughter. It had been 5 full days since Anna's disappearance. Time waits for no one. After a mental tug-of-war, Frank violated his conscience but vowed never to help Keller. On the other side, Keller's wife, in deep slumber, heard commotion, thinking it was her daughter, but found no one. She heard noise next door and turned back into her room, only to find the window wide open, looking like someone was invited in. Instinct told her something was off, so she called the inspector to help analyze the problem. The inspector came to the basement and wondered why Keller hadn't shown up. Is he hiding some dark conspiracy down there? Hearing Keller was searching for his daughter, he figured he's been lingering the same way. No wonder the inspector subconsciously suspected him. So the inspector decided to tail Keller, only to be noticed in no time. Talk about dramatic. Keller's rage was like dark clouds in the sky. Why don't you go find my daughter, you fool? He got out of the car, and no one knew how he felt. Anger and despair intertwined, almost crafting a tragic novel. Since his daughter went missing, Keller dreamt every night of her pleading for help. His pain was like quicksand he couldn't escape. But he knew he couldn't fall. Yet, despite tormenting Alex, he remained silent as a riddle. Keller even began doubting if Alex actually knew where Anna was or was just pulling a prank on him. Just when he was about to surrender to despair, Alex spoke up. Keller leaned in quickly but couldn't decipher a word of his rambling. Just then, a racket came from downstairs. It was the inspector arriving with leads, and he was thrilled. But Keller panicked. If the inspector took Alex, all his hard work would go up in smoke. Thinking quickly, Keller claimed this was a room his father left him, saying he was hiding to drink without his wife knowing. Though this excuse was slightly ludicrous, the inspector was no fool and didn't easily buy it. As Keller was almost suffocating from nervousness, the inspector got a call with intel, making him breathe a little easier. Turns out the inspector caught a key lead. The fleeing suspect had just left a department store. After this, the inspector followed the lead to that suspect's house, ready to unveil the truth. However, this uncle blatantly lied, claiming he had never seen the inspector. His eyes were filled with tricks. The inspector quickly subdued him, like catching a greasy uncle in a cheesy drama. However, despite carefully searching, the missing Anna remained untraceable. Just as the boxes in the room caught the inspector's eye, he fetched a crowbar to pry them open, and oh boy, shocker. Inside were blood-soaked children's clothes, sending chills down everyone's spine. The inspector took a deep breath, called Keller, and found Anna's sock among the clothes. Don't forget to like and subscribe.